Hello, today I'm going to be doing another grief share. Um, Today I'd like to talk about some of the um, issues I'm dealing with as far as like having been told that I need to have a child when I wasn't really expecting to have a child or planning to have a child. Um, that's something that I had talked about briefly on some of the previous videos that I felt like God was telling me that it was time to have a child. And and don't get me wrong, like I really hadn't ever planned on having one, but I had kind of always felt like um God wants us as human beings to have children, so I had kind of tried to almost bargain with God to uh to where I had said, um if I do have to have a child, I will be fine one day, but not anytime recently. I mean, probably, I guess basically, I wanted to have a child when I felt like I was more ready, more healed. I don't think I expected perfection or anything, but I have just looked at my situation physically and mentally and things like that, and the state of my marriage, and I just didn't feel like it was the right time to bring a child. But anyway, the feelings I'm dealing with mostly with that is like um feeling like my marriage is just not in a place to have a child, and it's feeling like it's just making me feel a lot of like worry and concern. I was just thinking today about how many things that I still haven't been able to forgive um from the past with my husband, and how I just don't feel like we can communicate. It's just been a really difficult situation. And I don't feel like it's a good thing to bring a child into. But, you know, then my mind wants to go to all these situations that are worse. I mean, I grew up in a situation much worse. Now, of course, I wouldn't say I turned out great by any means. I've had a lot of problems to overcome, and even if I'm able to overcome them, I still don't want to bring a child into that. So I guess I'm just really feeling like I don't know how to get past some of the things that have happened to me um, in my marriage. I mean, we can all talk about how maybe we've had conflicts with our spouse. Um, Me and my spouse have had lots of conflicts, and we still continue to have them. I don't know how to bring a child into that situation. It gives me a lot of, um, I guess, stress. But that's why I say like sometimes when God tells you to do something, it creates this ripple effect that that it feels like you just have to deal with all these feelings all at once. And I guess there's more things that I want to have out of the way as a person before I have a child. I mean, I want to um, be in a more loving situation with my husband. I want to be in a better place of communication. I don't want to be having the conflicts like we do. And I want to be able to forgive the things that happened in the past. And there's things that happen between two people that sometimes you just don't know how to forgive. Um, I guess I'll try to go into a little details. Um, like I think we both came from situations where we um we just weren't treated the best by different people in our past. Um, we're both kind of quiet and introverted, and I feel like we've been around a lot of outgoing people that tend to take advantage of us and do things to us that were really hurtful. So we just kind of ended up taking it out on each other, even to the point of having some physical altercations. And it creates this deep hurt that you don't know how to get past. And I mean, I don't know why I used to think this, but I used to think that like two people who were married just they didn't have stuff like that that happened. Um like you don't have something that happens between your spouse that you go years without being able to forgive. Like I guess I just always thought that you could talk about anything and get to a place of forgiveness and never feel like you struggle to communicate. But I've really changed my mind about some of those things. Um, and to be honest, I don't even know where that comes from because um, when I saw my parents, they fought a lot and they probably did have things that they held on to between each other that they couldn't seem to get past. Um, Now maybe that's not true, but that's kind of what it looked like. And and I do wonder if sometimes women have a harder time with some things that they've gone through. They don't handle stress as well sometimes. Um, and maybe that's not true for everybody, but I've seen quite a few examples of that myself. So um, I just think it's really difficult to know how to move forward when you have these wounds that you just can't seem to get past. I remember one time I had heard something from my previous pastors where they talked about well, it was the pastor's wife, and she had talked about how something had happened with her husband where she had um she had been so hurt that she said she was never going to open her heart to him again. And it took her years to get past that. Um, and I kind of understand that now. At the time, um, I didn't really understand as much, but I'm kind of understanding more. I think I've analyzed more and more of the conflicts that me and my husband have, and I see how we clash and we have different languages that don't seem to work. But well, I mean, sometimes it's fine, but when we get to a conflict, we just can't seem to speak the right language to each other. And and the reason I'm saying all this is because I just want to make it clear that like um, marriage is really difficult. It's really hard. There are things where, you imagine that you can communicate and you just can't because the other person reacts a certain way or you say something in a certain way. And and I mean, I will say that like for many years I've struggled with the level of abuse that I went through growing up. I just remember the first 3 years we were married. I just remember this level of anger that like I can almost not describe. It was just horrible. Um, and it felt like it was just gonna control me, and I guess it did for a while. And then I remember when it finally dropped a level, but um, it's just taken years and years to get rid of the anger that I felt and how it's controlled me. So like I know it's made things a lot harder, but I mean, there's lots of positives to be grateful for too at the same time. I mean, um, neither one of us are on drugs, and I'm not saying that to brag. I'm trying to bring out positives of like, how um, we could possibly be better parents. And of course, I guess I'm really just saying it for myself because um, a lot of times I really just don't see it. I don't see how it makes sense. And maybe that's part of like being a better person. You just you're always looking at ways to improve, and maybe it's not good to see how many negatives you have, but um, it does tend to make things better when unexpected things happen. And I mean, honestly, I don't know a whole lot about what being a parent is like. I know what my experience was as a child, which was really horrible, and and I know it wouldn't be. on the level that what I went through if I was a parent, but um, it still feels like it's just not good timing. But I assume that's why more and more people are not having children. They um, they see how it's just it can be really difficult. And I mean, I'm sure that's just part of it. It's a huge responsibility, but just trying to trying to find the positives in what you're going through can be really difficult when um God tells you something that you don't really feel like makes sense for you in your life. Um, there's a lot of things we're trying to um change our house. We bought a house that needed a lot of repairs, so we're working on that, and that it doesn't really feel like it's a place to have a child. So I mean, of course, there's like all kinds of things that don't make sense. In fact, there's more things that don't make sense to me than do. So just seeing the things that are actually happening in the moment um, just don't add up to me. I don't know how to get past some of the things that I've went through, and I don't know how to understand that this is the right situation and this is the right timing. Um, Things like that. But don't want to go on too long. I just want to give kind of a brief um, idea of what I've been going through this week. But anyway, I guess I will leave it at that, and thank you for watching.